But I want to take it in a slightly different direction, which is that these roll-ups in the physician market have led to another kind of vertical integration that people do not talk about that much. Everyone talks about the first slide I showed you, the insurers, PBMs, pharmacies, providers. But very few people talk about what's been happening in the buy and bill space, in the provider-administered drug space with regard to vertical integration. And here's a new chart, new for this presentation. I'll probably see variations of this many times in the future. But let this sink in for a minute. These are the three largest wholesalers, Cencora, Cardinal Health, and McKesson. And these are the businesses they own. Each of them owns a generic manufacturing company. They have for many years. They, of course, have wholesale distribution businesses, both full-line wholesale and specialty distribution. One of them now has specialty pharmacy. The other two have sold their specialty pharmacies off. But for many years, they have been the largest owners of pharmacy franchise businesses in the U.S. About 7,500 small pharmacy locations are part of these franchises, primarily Good Neighbor and Health Mart. And they also own the largest PSAOs, which negotiate with PBMs on behalf of pharmacies, and they collectively have about 17,000 pharmacy locations between the three companies. So they have moved to helping those retail pharmacies, the smaller retail pharmacies, survive a challenging world. But what's happened in the last couple of years is they have made many significant investments in helping providers, particularly physicians who are using the buy and bill system, to sustain their business, both through group purchasing organizations, which they've had for many years but have started to significantly invest in. In fact, in our most recent report, if you have that one, the 2024 Economic Report on Pharmaceutical Wholesalers and Specialty Distributors, go look at Exhibit 64. We list the 12 largest wholesaler-owned physician group purchasing organizations that cover most of the ologies, most of the physician practices that have significant drug spend. They don't own GPOs for primary care. They own them for oncology or rheumatology or urology. They continue to acquire companies. Cardinal Health bought one just this year, Specialty Networks, which brought together even more GPO volume. And within the last couple of years, they've started to go one level deeper into vertical integration, which is starting to partner with and or acquire the management service organizations that the private equity firms have been building up and essentially becoming owners in their customers. And I refer to this as private equity enablement. For example, OneOncology, which Cencora took a majority stake in, partnering with another private equity firm a little more than a year ago, that was formed in 2018 by a private equity firm that acquired a whole number of practices. And by the time they got big enough and sold to Cencora, they had over 400 physicians. They had over 1,200 physicians at over 400 locations. They recently just bought, let me get the name right here, the Retina company, which again had 300 physicians and had been backed by a private equity firm, Webster Equity. So these companies have been sort of rolling up the physicians, and they have strategic partners who want to buy this, who are the wholesalers. Cardinal just bought Integrated Oncology Network. McKesson bought a majority stake in a new holding company formed for Florida cancer specialists. That was not a private equity-backed company, but it was one of the largest oncology practices in the country. So what this means is that you're going to start to hear more and more about how the wholesalers are going to start to control and influence biosimilar market access for provider-administered biosimilars. So now we're not in the world of Humira. We're in the world of the other 40-plus approved biosimilars that are replacing buy and bill products. And the wholesalers are going all in on their vertical integration. And I want to highlight this because this vertical alignment doesn't get a lot of attention, but I think is one of the biggest stories of the next couple of years. Because the buy and bill channel is going to be under enormous financial pressure. The IRA is going to crush margins in the buy and bill space. Potential reform of 340B may help tilt the playing field a little bit more in favor of non-340B eligible hospitals, which most of these practices are not 340B eligible. But it's creating a lot of chaos. And the growth of biosimilars is actually pressuring the economics of physician practices in the same way that low-price generics are pressuring retail pharmacies. If I'm a physician and I'm getting a markup over the cost of the drug and the cost of the drug drops by 60%, the dollar value of that markup goes down. And adding another couple percentage points, like the IRA did for Medicare Part B, doesn't do a lot. Right now, biosimilars, provider-administered, are a meaningful portion of wholesalers' profits, although still a single-digit share of their revenues. So I would keep this in mind. If you're trying to get to these physicians, you're trying to get into this market, the wholesalers are going to become gatekeepers. They are gatekeepers already.